Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. Have you ever felt absolutely hopeless when it comes to your health, body pain, chronic disease, mental and emotional distress, and your stress management? Yeah, I've been there too. And after years of my own health and healing journey, learning all of these different holistic healing modalities and tools, I've finally come to a point in life where I have absolutely never felt better. And I want to teach you those tools. And that's why I've created the Magnetic Mobility Meditation Program, designed specifically to tap into your body, listen to the inner wisdom it's trying to share with you, and really connect your mind, body, and soul so that you can be the healthiest, happiest version of yourself and be able to thrive in your life and truly learn about your own energy, what you need, what your non-negotiables are, as I combine this body-based practice to help you reclaim your health and thrive in your life. And did I mention that you get a 5-day free trial to the Holistic Human Performance Wellness Center, where you can access all these different programs, on-demand videos, meditations, breath work, movement, exercise, nutrition coaching, all to help you biohack your life, enhance your health and well-being, and to help you have these tools that you can put in your toolbox and you can utilize them whenever, wherever you need. Go get your 5-day free trial at www.holistichumanperformance.co/academy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Carroll Dey. She is well-versed in sales and marketing. She started off in the wine industry for quite a while, and she merged her way into real estate and has built a very accomplished real estate portfolio. And I'm really excited to have her on today because the title that I wanted to call this episode, Turning Trauma into Triumph. Now, her story is really, when I was learning about it, I started tearing up. So I'm really excited to be able to speak with Carroll. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, my Long Island sister from New Jersey, for me.
I love it. East Coasters.
Yes, I'm really excited to talk to you and to connect with your audience today.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of like, we were briefly chatting before, like what brought you to where you're at today? Just like the mindset that you have, the energy that you have, the vitality that you have, like what did you go through to get to this point? I know it's a loaded question.
I love the way you asked the question. It was what brought me here in this moment is doing a mastermind with Bob Berg and Kathy Tajanel. Bob Berg wrote the book, The Go-Giver. And at the end of last July, I did his mastermind in Jupiter, Florida. And there's only 7 or 8 people around a table for 48 hours, like just you're in this immersion program, and we have a coach and Kathy and Bob. And I've never experienced anything like that because you're given 1 hour to either say, help me with my business, and when I asked to be last. And when I started talking, I was just sobbing
Yeah.
all over the table because my story has been decades to get me here. And then it was suggested to me at the table, or not told to me, that I should be doing TED Talks and podcasts and writing a book, and that I had turned, they're like, you're not about tragedy, you're about triumph. Look what
Mm-hmm.
you've done. You're, and then they started putting a graph up. And, I think kind of, I don't mean to be dramatic, but kind of what led me here was being not diagnosed with an eye disease in my mid-30s and told I would be blind. And I can see better now than I've ever seen before because of never believing anything for some deep rooted reason. Maybe it was the nuns hitting me for 9 years, that anything was wrong with me. And then my dad took his life in 1995. 2 years later, I dated a guy, fell in love with him, and he turned out to be a con man and stole every dime I had.
Oh,
And
wow.
2 years later, I was hit by a car when a woman ran a red light while I was out jogging. And those three things were in my 40s, like boom, boom, boom.
Whoa.
And I came out of getting hit by the car. You look back at your life and you think, well, you know what? If it didn't happen, I wouldn't be the person I am.
Mm,
And I still have scars on my head. I I was in the hospital for a month, but it also gave me, and it kind of like messed with my eyes more because I landed on my head.
mm,
It's also, I believe, in 1995, in 1999 was when that happened. By the way, I was bankrupt as well. Is I came out of it. That was the beginning of my life. It was 1999 started my life all over again, because how many people do we hear about on the news, or friends, that somebody was hit by a car and they're dead, or they're so disabled that they can never walk again. So I think without knowing it, right, because that was 20 whatever years ago, uh,
right.
I was given the chance to begin my life all over again, having come out of the worst years of my life.
Mm,
I think that when you say, how did you get here? I think it was that moment. I was surrounded by churches and synagogues, and I'd say to people, I landed on an angel mattress
mm.
and they lifted me up, and here I am.
Wow. There's so much to unpack there. So I want to actually pause and kind of reflect on this one because talking about how you started your life after, a car hit you. Um to me, that's like so interesting that you say, because I also went through my own adversities and I always say this too, like it's a new chapter. I was given a second chance at life. Like, what's the reason? And um people, I see this all the time and I'm sure you do too. A lot of people get stuck in like that victimhood mentality of like, why me? Why did this happen to me? So as you're, you know, going through this traumatic incident, which is, not new to you, you've gone through other things prior to that. What was kind of, I don't want to like game plan, or what were you doing to come out of that in order to triumph, in order to come out on the other side? What was your mindset like? What was kind of the first step that you took after something so tragic like that?
Well, and you're touching on my favorite subject, and that was going back to the gym
Yes.
and learning how to walk again.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
first thing I did was with my little cane, and I had a Velcro cast around my left leg because three of the ligaments were torn in my left knee. I've never had surgery. And we had a pool at the gym.
Mhm.
Side of the pool was 3 feet. And so I lowered myself into the pool and started walking. And I created, my birthday's on the 25th of the month. So I did 25 laps back and forth. And I created a routine for myself in the water, because in the water, you feel reborn.
Yep.
because you're so buoyant. And then from that, it led to working with a trainer who, I'm not very tall. I'm 5'1", and the trainer turned me into a sumo wrestler. That was pretty. And so that led me to working with a training facility here in DC. And one of the people that was working there at the time now has his own place, and he's become one of the dearest people in my life. And the reason that my body is in better shape now than it probably was before the accident. So the working out for me is, I love to work out, and I do it less now than I've ever done before because I do it right. And
Mm-hmm.
it really is what has transformed me, because the title of this is holistic. What we do is transformational. It is on a holistic level. It is working with the fascia from the inside out. It does become a spiritual experience, because as you release pain, you release spiritual, physical, all pain from the deepest level of your body. So when you say then has become now,
Mm.
because we are, and I believe this is true coming through COVID as well. Chris, my trainer, he developed a Zoom classes for us every morning and every night. And he put it together 14 days after COVID started. And we all know what we went through. All of us, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's different, we all went through the same thing. And mentally, that was the trajectory, I think, that really changed me. Chris said, if you commit to this, I will change your body. And so now, this many years later, I'm working on a deeper level, but we as a world are deeper. Yeah. And I'm working on a level that I couldn't back in 2000, 20 years ago, as I came out of it, or however many years we are now, to where I am now. So it's a lifelong journey and growth to get to where I am.
Mm. Absolutely. You hit on so many great points. I want to start with this though. What kind of person were you before these incidences? Like what kind of, for me, for example, I was actually dwelling on this the other day. I was like, wow, damn, I had a lot of like health anxiety and like fear of, but like on a subconscious level. And it was affecting really every aspect of my life. So what kind of person were you before all of these things kind of went down?
Heavy.
Mm.
My parents split up when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's really when the rug was pulled out from under me.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother podcast, right? Because
Right.
back in those days, people weren't divorcing like
Yeah.
now. You weren't being brought to therapists. Nobody was talking to you and saying it's going to be okay. So it kind of started then.
Mm.
I left home right after high school. I moved to DC. I took a year off and then went to college and lived in Ireland, lived in Boston. Like, I did a lot of things, and then came back to DC in the mid 70s and worked. I went to American University. I was a performing arts and business, like, so all those things were my foundation. So I think the really direct answer to you, because it goes back to childhood,
Yeah.
I'm watching my brother who and it's my brother from my dad's second marriage. He has a 7-month-old baby, and I see these little videos that he sends me, and this little girl is so joyful. And so I really think no matter what happened with my family, you know, after the divorce, because it really fragmented, and then my dad's suicide really tore us apart. The beginning of my life was joy. I mean, I love the beach. I loved growing up on the Jersey Shore. It was so simple, so beautiful. And so that was my foundation. And
Mm.
so I think no matter what's happened through these hardships, that core of me, that little girl, has always been there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bringing that, honestly, joy is one of the most unbelievable, like, emotions that we can experience. It's our birthright to feel joy. And when we go through adverse times, challenges that really shake up our lives, like we forget that. We forget that we can continue to live and be joyful and playful in life. And we almost like bring those like traumas as our identity, as who we are. And I say this a lot. Where I'm at right now in life, I don't identify with a cancer survivor. Like, I don't start my sentences off with that, like, hey, I'm Gena, I'm a cancer survivor. Like, that's a part of me that has like died off and has been put to rest. And so creating like a new life where I have a regulated nervous system, I'm healthy, I'm whole, and that required a lifestyle change. So what were, I know you mentioned exercise, and preach, I'm right there with you. I grew up in a family fitness business, so I grew up in it. I love exercise. I cannot not move. And so what are some things that you kind of like brought into your toolbox to help you along your journey?
Well, it's actually changed again,
Mm,
since and the journey, it just like I said, it seems like I keep yielding off to a different road of learning, like just talking to you today. Um, Now today I write my gratitudes in the morning. I meditate twice a day. I'd never done that before. I started doing it in September. I work out in the morning if I'm not with my trainer. I do his routines.
mm-hmm.
I walk, and a lot of what we work on is alignment and balance, and really focusing on your core and your rootedness.
Yeah.
And so those are little things that I've implemented. I'm finding that my dad was a workout exercise athlete freak. And that's where this comes from. And I'm the oldest of all of his children. And so it comes, and very naturally, and my grandfather owned a produce business. So I grew up on fruit.
Oh, very cool.
But I feel like in today's world, you have to seek out health because food has been turned into non-food. It's been
Yeah.
turned into cardboard. And I think I'll go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think that people really have to pay attention to what they're putting into their bodies. There's so many preservatives. There's so many unhealthy ingredients, like you just said. You've changed the way you eat, and the way that you live. But I want to also sidestep to something you just said about you're not your cancer. And Chris, my trainer, said to me a few years ago, he's like, you're not your accident,
Mm-hmm.
like you've got to let that go. And we are that, but we took that as the building of the new people we are now.
Mm-hmm.
That was just the episode that got us to this place.
Mm.
And if you live in that space, then like people have come up to me over the years and they'll say, I don't know how you do it. Well, what are your choices? I mean, hello.
That is it. That's actually how I respond as well. They're like, "How did you do this? How did you get to this point?" I'm like, "I don't have a choice."
Right.
So,
I don't, my answer is you just do.
you just do.
Right.
That's awesome. I love all that. And so I'm curious. You said you started meditation in September, right? How has that I love meditation. How has that been for you? What's your experience with that?
Love it. I made the decision that in order, and most people probably aren't as honest as I am. I just happen to be really honest.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe that was the nuns too. I met with a friend who also did the Go Giver Mastery, and we shared a lot of things that we both did. And she had gone to the TM, the Transcendental Meditation Center here in Bethesda. And
Mm,
I know by your face that you knew that I was going to say this. And
yep.
I had talked to the woman there for months. And luckily, which is really why I can do it, even with more ease is because they put everything on an app. And even though there's a lot of personal and, physical engagement, so I went to this center on September 19th with my fruits and flowers and did the welcome ceremony.
Yep.
And I was taught how so easy it is to go into meditation. And I've been doing it twice a day ever since. And there's a guy by the name of Bob Roth.
Mm-hmm.
He leads a meditation twice a day. And if I can get on it with him at 7 in the morning, at 6 at night, or I'll just do the 20 minutes by myself. But the cool thing about Bob's meditations is he begins every meditation with teaching you something for 5 minutes, whether
Mm.
it's about humpback whales or the brain. I'm not kidding. And
That's
then
awesome.
ends it with a poem by someone maybe in the group or a quote from Khalil Gibran or Gandhi.
Mm.
And it's just changed my life. I know it's not a dramatic change, but I feel the subtleties of how I'm responding and reacting to people. Like I got this most condescending email from someone a couple of days ago who's in one of these women's groups. And before I probably would have gotten angry, and when I read it, I just burst out laughing. Like, whoa, that's so new. But and the beauty of TM, or really any meditation that somebody chooses, is making it really simple and just sitting quietly. And if you sit there for 20 minutes and sleep or cry, or you're given a mantra, everybody's given a mantra, and then you just go with it. And it's just so chill and easy. And that's what's beautiful about it.
That's awesome. I love meditation. I've been doing it for like 10 years. I was unknowingly doing it as an athlete in college, more of like the visualization style. And it completely changed the game for me. And, just like those, like you said, some things that would make you angry, you just bust out laughing, or you're like, ah, whatever. Things just roll off your shoulder. I I can't not go a day without meditating or some type of gratitude practice. It's profound. I actually read this a couple of weeks ago. I think Dr. Joe Dispenza spoke about it. A gratitude practice 3 times a day for like 15 minutes decreases I'm sorry, boosts your immune system by 50%.
Wow, I really want to meet him in person.
Me too.
Make that happen. I
Let's
wanted
do
to.
it.
Okay, I really want to spend time with him because I think the healing power of what he does and his story is so profound, and leading to those 15 minutes. It's not a lot once you do it.
No.
It's really nothing, and it you just have to stop. And I find my energy is heightened at night and in the morning.
It's interesting because it actually, a lot of people think that it'll make you like sleepy or whatever. No, it actually energizes you, but also helps you regulate your nervous system so you're calm and clear-minded. It is a profound practice. And like you said, there's thousands of different ways to meditate. There's so many different ways.
Well, and Bob talks about that, Bob Roth, the power
Yeah.
of the brain. And this morning I had a something cancel, and I did something so decadent. I had made my bed, I laid back down again and fell asleep for like after my meditation. And that's what Bob says, you know what, if it makes you tired, then your body, and I've been going like 100 miles an hour. So
Needs
I
rest.
allowed myself to do that. And I thought when I came out of it, it was like noon, it was 8:30 because I had been awake so early. But that's what he says. You go what you just said with what your inner being is leading you to do, and that is your brain and your body.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The mind body connection is the most powerful tool that we have. And learning the innate wisdom of the body and what it can do. Look at what you've overcome. I mean, come on, you weren't able to walk and now you're walking. You said you're stronger than you've ever been. And you don't even, you don't even work out, not to say as hard, but as much. You're more refined with it, efficient. You get in there, you get out, big bang for your buck. And that is so awesome.
And I think to say to people who might be listening to us that are rolling their eyes, you know what? Go out and take a walk.
That's it. Go around the block.
That's it. That's all I did that yesterday. It was freezing. It was terrible. And I was like, go around again. And it was getting dark and it was so cold. But just those like 15 minutes that I was able to get outside and breathe the air, listen to the birds. It's spring. Yep, it's chilly again. But mentally, if you're not someone who exercises, because you and I could go on about it for the next 2 days, not, if you're listening to this and this feels like a burden, then just go out and walk around the block and build it up. Go a block and a half the next day, go a little bit more the next day and build it up. You have to babies crawl before they walk.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And okay, so I want to tap on this one point because I think it's very, very important. So when we exercise, when we move our bodies, we enhance our stress levels and our tolerance for that, right? Our capacity. And so if you're someone who lives a sedentary life, and I'm just going to say this, like life will keep on lifing and life will happen. Nobody's saying that something like, what Carol or myself went through is traumatic, but when shit hits the fan and you don't have that capacity, you're not going to react well to what happened. And so, these different tools when it comes to mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic, incorporating these into your daily routine is what helps to expand and enable your capacity to hold more space for yourself so that when things do hit the fan, like you're able to deal with it and you're able to be like, okay, I'm grounded, I got this, I'm not giving up.
Well, so to piggyback off of that, because everyone's on social media, it's no secret that people have more anxiety today, that kids are being bullied, that people are taking their lives. To do what you just said and know that you're not alone, and to reach out to me. I mean, I know you'll put my contact information, or to just sit still for 20 minutes. And if you have to cry or put music on, listen to Billie Eilish's new song. I mean, you have to, if you go deep into that anxiety, then you're hurting yourself. You just know that, or pray. I pray every morning. I pray every night. I talk to God. And I think more people are admitting to that.
Absolutely.
It used to be so, I would never, whoa, people, what are they going to? I am happy to tell you that I talk to God all day long.
Same.
All day. I'm in DC. I'm out. I go on public transportation. I walk the streets. And I always put a light protection around me when I cross the street, when I get on public transportation, when I get in an Uber, I talk to a homeless guy on M Street every single time I see him. Don't be scared. Like, it's okay. If you go into that fear place, all you're doing is hurting yourself and your health.
Absolutely. So what are some things, maybe like your top 3 things that, you would pass along to the listeners of, how they could deal with whatever trauma they went through and, let's just say they're starting a new chapter in life?
The one thing that's coming to me in the moment to say, and this has taken me a lifetime, is to be worthy, to find my worthiness and to love myself. That, I believe, has come from the TM, from the meditation. So I think if I were to tell people, I'll keep it really basic.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, get a good night's sleep, watch what you eat, exercise, and really, and this is not me making this up, get a book, a journal, a pad, a paper, something, and start writing to yourself. Start writing either your gratitudes, or someone said to me recently, write from the inside and say what you love about yourself. And I think that that'll grow into something really organic that will lead you to do other things. Don't overthink anything, because I've been pretty hard on myself for most of my life. And, I've just simplifying things and really, really going to that place of thankfulness, and not picturing that you're going to win the lottery. That would be nice, but also picturing how good you are. Like, each of us has been given this life for a reason. And those would be my little tips, are those things. Very simple, what I grew up with, right? Sleep, eat, love yourself, and be kind to others. And then write it down. Write down at the end of the day or the beginning of every day what you're grateful for. And then take
Mm,
it from there.
absolutely. I love that. Thank you.
Thank
Gratitude is such a profound practice that I literally had to create a daily journal about it because it made such a difference in my life. I wanted to share that with others. So I'm really happy that you just, touched on that.
Well,
And
because
then
you can't be two things at once, right?
you
You can't
can't.
be negative and grateful at the same time. Sorry to cut you off,
No, yeah, go ahead.
but you can only be one or the other. So, but go ahead about gratitude, because I think it's really important.
It is absolutely important. And when I learned, that information from Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm like, oh, wow, like this makes so much sense. And also, I just feel better when I am more grateful. Like I tap into my body and what it actually feels like. And I'm like, I need to share this with other people. So I created a gratitude journal so that people can wake up in the morning and write out, the three things that they're grateful for before they go to bed, whenever they want, really. And another thing to touch on with worthiness. So there are five main emotions, meta emotions, I guess you could call them. And on unworthiness is one of them. So you have anger, resentment, rage, and unworthiness is one of them. Unworthiness, according to research, is actually connected to 60 different diseases.
I'm not surprised.
Me neither. I'm not even surprised. So again, you're hitting on these like amazing points that we didn't even like talk about beforehand that are just naturally coming up because this is what the listeners need to hear. And I'm so glad that you're sharing this with us. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's really transformed my life. And every day is not peaches and cream.
Right.
You go into those dark places. I cry, I hit the floor on my knees and talk to God, and why? And, and but I look in the mirror and it's like, and I think it's really important to say, doing things like this with you that I've been doing since October is, I now make little videos every week about my real estate, and coming on this kind of a platform, being able to share my life with people. I'm not unusual. I'm really not. At least I never thought I was until people like you told me I am. This is just who I am.
Yep.
You asked me that question a while ago, where does it come from? And the only thing that I can say, circling back to that, is from when I was a child. But there were so many twists and turns to bring me here that I have to keep honing in and tapping into that little girl, is finding that joy. And how do you do that? We're in a pretty wackadoodle world right now.
Yeah.
And so I have to just find those little times, like having dinner with a friend that I've been friends with for 40 years last Saturday at the diner. That like just cracked me up. But don't overthink it. And that brings worthiness. You know, it doesn't have to cost $1 million. It just go in your closet and put a dress on and go buy yourself a coffee.
I
But
love that.
that's gratitude.
Oh, it's the simple things in life. Like for me, I'm just like happy when I can get some sunshine on my face.
I heard something about that. I forgot what I was listening to this morning, and they
Hmm.
were talking about like what they used to say you should and shouldn't do, and what you should do. And they were saying, don't go in the sun after 10 and before 4. And now they're saying that to really get healthy, you should go in the sun between 12 and 1, and that you have to get sun every single day and that you can't eat butter. Yes, you can eat butter. You know, you can't eat bacon. Yes, you can. Like, so again, back to my grandmother and grandfather and the simplicity of that time. It wasn't a lot. It was pure food. It was just meat, potatoes, fruit, milk, water. Like, and that's what's healthy. And it's the same thing with what we're talking about, is just the simplicity. Don't overthink, don't overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple.
I totally agree with you. Keep it simple, stupid. Like that's it.
As you did.
Oh man, thank you so so much. We could go on for hours, I swear.
I know, but we want to keep everybody's attention. So
Yeah. Um, so as we wrap up, are there any words of wisdom you would like to leave the listeners?
I think I've shared a lot of wisdom, but again, I think just love yourself and be grateful that we are on this planet right now.
Mm,
And I am around people like you so often, and I listen to videos, I listen to podcasts, and the people that I'm finding are so positive. And I mean, we are changing the world, whether we like it or not. All of this commotion is really the world setting itself in a new place. And I'm in real estate. Our whole world is being turned upside down right now. So
mm,
you either go be a barista, or or go sell a car or whatever you're good at, or be the best real estate person you can be. And that was the meeting I had before this. And I choose being the best that I can be. And I'm sure I'm older than most people listening. All you can do is get better. I feel like I'll leave you with this. My dad took his life when he was 67. When I was approaching 67, I was terrified. I thought, and it really is bringing like emotion to my throat and my heart center. And I
mm,
thought, am I going to do what my dad did at 67? Am I going to take my life? And that was for a couple of months. My birthday is September 25th. And about a week before this this whatever light entered me, and it was my dad, and he said, you I could not go any farther. I'm handing you the baton, and from 67 on are going to be the best years of your life. And I don't care when you make that your decision, whether you're 17, 47, or 67. Right now, make that commitment to yourself that from this day forward will be the best days of your life.
mm. I have full body chills. That
But
was
I
so beautiful.
thank you.
Thank you so, so much. So, Carol, where can people find you?
Um, I don't know if you're going to put anything in the link, but it's
I'll put
really
them in the show notes. Yes.
perfect. I'm easy to get. You can text me, you can email me, and if you put that in the show notes, that would be great. If I can help you in any way, including sell you a house or a condo, I can do that too. But I'm in Washington, D.C., in our lovely nation's capital, full of cherry blossoms, and I would love to talk to who is ever listening and in any way help you. It's really what I love doing is connecting with people.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. It was such a pleasure to learn your wisdom. Thank
Thank
you.
thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, guys, if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.